Alexa has 12 and a half cups of dog food. She feeds her dog 1 1/4 cups every day. Okay, so I see she has 12 and a half cups of dog food. I notice that that is the total amount of dog food that she has. And she feeds her dog 1 1/4 cups every day. Write an equation to represent the number of days D the dog food lasts. So first of all, I know it's asking for an equation, which means I better have an equal sign. Now I'm looking at this word problem, and I'm noticing there's a couple of ways I could solve it. One way is by peeing here, because I see the word every. Another thing I notice is that there are the same units, and when we have the same unit, make sure to copy this down, please. What strategy should we be using if we see two numbers that have the same unit after it? Go ahead and call it out. If you said number line, you would be correct. However, for this problem, it only says to write an equation to represent the number of days. So we could make a number line. In fact, for part B, we will. But this just asks you to use the numbers and the letter D. And in this case, we talked about this kind of problem being a division problem. And when we do number lines, we always do the total, which in this case was 12 and a half, divided by what you count by. And in this case, we'll be counting by 1 1/4. And this is where some people lost quite a few points, was because you need to set it equal, because it's an equation, equal to D. Now, what is D going to be? We're going to figure that out in part B. But again, you see the same units. It's total divided by what you count by. 12 and a half divided by 1 1/4 equals. So now we're on to part B that says solve your equation to find the number of days the dog food lasts. So we just figured out that the equation was 12 and a half divided by 1 1/4 equals D. So even though we could use a number line, we literally are just told to solve this problem. So what we're going to do is keep, switch, flip. But first, we need to crank both of the mixed numbers. So in your head, could you crank 12 and a half? Okay, go ahead and call it out if you know what it is. Yes, if you said 25 over 2, you would be right. We're going to keep the division sign because we're not keep, switch, flipping yet. 1 1/4 becomes 5/4. So now we're going to ask you to pause the tape and go ahead and do keep, switch, flip on this and see if you end up getting the same answer as we do. So go ahead and pause it now. Okay, if you are back, it is time to check if your work was correct. It's okay that we're going into the answer line. Don't freak out about that. We got our keep. We have our switch. We have our flip. I'm getting 25 over 2 times 4/5. 25 times 4 is like saying 4/4. That's 100. 5 times 2 gives you 10. 100 over 10 is 100 divided by 10, which is just 10. The answer for this problem was just 10 days.